Hello and welcome to Matchday Live ahead of this brand new season for Leicester City in the Championship. We're on a new look Foxes Hub, we're in a new look studio, and before we go any further, let's get all of today's team news for new manager Enzo Maresca's first competitive game in charge of the Foxes, and what a pretty big game it is as well today, of course, against local rivals Coventry City. We can get straight into that team news then for Enzo Maresca and his new side. It's a debut for Mads Hermansen in goal, also a debut at left back for Callum Doyle. We'll talk about the formation during Matchday Live and how it might look both in and out of possession. Yannick Vestergaard and Wout Faes are in central defence with Ricardo at right back. It's another debut, this time for Harry Winks in midfield. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and Wilfred Ndidi will play either side of him, just ahead of him. Another debut again, Steffi Mavididi, this time on the left-hand side. Casey McAteer on the right, with Jamie Vardy up front. And on the substitute bench, it's Jakub Stolarczyk, James Justin, Mark Albrighton, Kelechi Iheanacho, Harry Souttar, Hamza Chowdhury, Pat Sindaka, Dennis Pratt and Timothy Castagna. From a visiting Coventry point of view, this is how Mark McGee sets up his side, a side, of course, that narrowly missed out on promotion to the Premier League at the end of last season. Mark Robins names Wilson in goal. It's Thomas, McFadden and Sheaf as the three central defenders. De Silva is on one side with Latibaudiere as the other wing back. Hamer, Eccles and Palmer in the midfield with Godden and Sims as their two strikers. Well, that's it. That's both teams then. Leicester City against Coventry City at the start of this brand new season. And what better two guests to have in the studio alongside me, Dan Bates, are Ewan Roberts and David Nugent, two goal scorers, proven goal scorers, of course, at Championship and Premier League level, of course. Welcome along to the both of you. You're shaking your head at me there, Ewan.
Absolutely. But of course not a Premier League level for me, I'm afraid, sadly.
Not so good in the Premier League, but all right in the Championship.
Yeah, this level, phenomenal, both of you. Welcome along. Happy new season to the both of you. It's like Christmas, isn't it, for adults who like football, this?
Yeah, I can't wait. You know, Championship was predominantly where I played most of my career, so, you know, Saturday, Tuesday, constant football, you know, new manager, new players, new way of playing, so I'm excited. You know, we've seen a couple of games where Enzo's formation, how he wants to play and stuff like this, so I'm excited for it, optimistic, and see what it brings to the season. Yeah,
excitement I think is the buzzword. Obviously there was huge disappointment at the end of last season, Ewan, but the goal is to bounce back and win promotion again to the Premier League.
Dan, as a player, this opening day of the season can't come quick enough, because you know all that 6 weeks hard work pre-season, all that fitness work that you have to do to get yourself prepared mentally and physically for the long. And at the Championship, you know, Dave said he's spent a lot of time at this level. I played 15 years in the Championship, and it is a slog. It's completely different to the Premier League. Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, and there's a 46 game season. But it's one I'm looking forward to. My season started yesterday. I was at the racecourse for Wrexham MK Don, so I've ticked one game already, but I can't wait for this one. You know, what a game to start off with, as you say. Is it the M69 derby? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
And I'm sure when the fixtures came out in mid-June, Leicester fans would have really been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got plenty coming up here on Matchday Live on Foxes Hub as we build up to kick-off, of course, which is a 12 o'clock kick-off, a very early start for this first game of the season, of course. We're going to hear from that new man, of course, Enzo Maresca. He's sat down with Guillaume Balaguer this week to look ahead to the new season and basically learn a lot more about the new manager himself. We'll hear from new signing and new number 10, Steffi Mavididi, of course. He looks like a very exciting signing, doesn't he? He's starting at left wing, we think, today. And we've got some classic strikes as well against Coventry City. And there's a smile in the studio here from Ewan Roberts, who instantly recognised that goal there, Ewan. I'm sure you do that with every single goal you've scored in your career.
To be fair, that was my first ever Premier League goal. We played Coventry on a Monday night. It was live on Sky. We drew 2-2. Gary Gillespie got sent off. Jimmy Willis got sent off for us, and I got both. Yeah, I got both. So I scored three against. I got three against. I only scored 9 that season in the Premier League. 3 of them came against Coventry.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So yeah, let's hope that, well, any of the Leicester players today, if they can open their account with a brace against Coventry today, that'll be pretty good. It's so important, isn't it, starting a new season, no matter what division you're in, no matter what level of football you're playing, to try and start the season with a win, particularly at home.
Yeah, you always want to go to a winning start, no matter what league you're in. But you know, local derby, playing against local rivals, you know, Leicester have to make a statement in this league. You know, a lot of teams want to come here and show Leicester that they're no pushovers. You know, everyone will be gunning for them because they've just been relegated from the Premier League, and you know, they've got to be careful. You know, they've got to approach the game in the right manner. They've got to play in the right way, and they've got to prove to all these other teams in the league that they want to get back promoted, because you know, people will come here and want to turn them over.
Dan, they're the bookies' favourites. They're many people's favourites to win the league, and there's a reason for that. You know, the squad that's still here, the players that have been bought in. Yeah, there's players have left the football club. We always knew that was going to happen. You know, we knew there were players going to leave on free transfers. You know, we always thought that James Maddison would move on. We wasn't too sure about Harvey Barnes, but Harvey's moved to Newcastle. I think this will be a tough game, but then you look at the next three: Huddersfield, Cardiff, Rotherham. Three teams that really struggled last season. So if you can get 3 points today, then it's and you go back to last season. You know, was it 1 point from the first seven games or something like that? An absolutely horrendous start. So it's important to hit the ground running, as they say.
And you talk about the squad as well. Like, look at the people on the bench.
Yeah,
a lot of them people on the bench will easily get into the Leicester team, or a lot of teams in the Championship. So they've got the squad in depth. It's whether they can keep hold of them. But I still think there might be a few more players who will leave the club. And then Enzo has to bring, you know, in the replacements to replace them players. But if you look at that squad on paper, you say it'll, you know, trounce the league, but it doesn't work like that. You know, you've got to have the right commitment in this league to go all the way.
I mean, we'll talk about Coventry obviously a little bit later, Ewan, but they'll be looking at that Leicester starting 11, won't they, and be thinking, blimey, there's some real quality in there.
Absolutely. We've always said, I mean, last season, high scorers in the bottom half, scored more goals than Aston Villa, that finished 7th in the Premier League. The problem was, you know, 1 clean sheet in the last 23 Premier League games. Leaked too many goals, Dan. That's why Leicester City are where they are in the Championship. If they can make that back 4, back 5, whatever it is, hard to break down, and if they make themselves hard to score against, then this team, this squad has got more than enough goals to win this league.
And that'll be under new manager, of course, Enzo Maresca, who came in at the start of the summer, about a month and a half or so ago. He sat down this week with football journalist Guillaume Balaguer to chat through his first month here with Leicester City and what he expects throughout this season.
When are you going to get tired of people talking to you about Pep Guardiola?
I like the responsibility of controlling the game, creating chances, solution. It's the way I would like to play for 95 minutes. Probably we have some new players. We're going to have some players that they're going to leave. I like also to share time with, as you said, with the pint, with friends.
Can I share what you've got in your WhatsApp avatar?
Yeah.
And so I've just been watching the open training session, and how can I put it? There is a sense of renewed hope from the fans. They clapping you, they're excited, but you've just been relegated. Can you explain that?
Yeah, this is the same. We receive exactly the same in terms of hopes. We can see, even not only today, since day one we start, that there is a good environment. As you said, even if we just relegated, this is good. This is something that we need, especially this year. As I said the first day, I know that Leicester fans, they always have been good, but especially this year we need them even more, because after relegation you need this boost, you know, always.
What do you mean? You need them to do what? To accept when defeats come, to wait for things to happen?
Yeah, we need them pushing the team, especially after 1 year like last year. And even this year, it's important that they are always in behind the team, because everyone is thinking that because we are Leicester, we have to win all the games, or we're gonna win all the games in easy way only because we are Leicester, and it's not football. It's not A, B, C. It's much more complicated. And for me, it's in the other side. Because we are Leicester, the opponent this year, they're gonna try to make the impossible to get points against us.
We've spoken many times, and we've spoken about football, about how you think, about the way you want your teams to be. And now I see you when you walk into a training pitch, or when you walk into the training center, surrounded by hundreds of people. All of a sudden, you are the boss of all that. You are at the top of the pyramid of whatever is happening in this massive club. And you're scared? How does that feel?
No, absolutely. No, I enjoy. I like this feeling, to be honest. It's something that I like. I like the responsibility of this situation. And as I said always, this is an important club. To be there for me, I'm very proud.
That was Enzo Maresca there in conversation with Guillem Balaguer. A really fascinating watch, actually, the full video of that, which is available on Fox's Hub. That's also where you can watch and listen to a number of games this season with us in the Championship, of course. There are a number of different packages available, as I said, to either watch or to listen to games. You can either buy monthly passes, a season pass as well. There's an early bird offer there as well for those season passes, whether you do want to watch or listen. In terms of watching the game today, certain international audience in territories can watch the game today. If you're in the UK, you can listen to all of the action, of course, today. That was fascinating, hearing from both Enzo Maresca there and Guillem Balaguer. Let's talk about the manager in general. What do you make of the appointment? I think Guillem was spot on when he spoke about the optimism and the feeling amongst the crowd on Wednesday when there was an open session here.
First and foremost, I think the club took their time to make the appointment, and I think that's always important, to look what's available, the direction that they want the football club to go. As I said, that they took their time, they assessed everything, and I think they got the right man. He's obviously worked with the very best in Pep Guardiola. He will have learned so much in his time at Manchester City. Didn't quite happen for him for one reason or another at Parma, but obviously he's now ready, Dan, to make that step from assistant manager to being the main man, and he's coming to an absolutely fantastic football club with fantastic facilities. They don't win your promotion, they don't win your leagues. You've got to get it right out there, and I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I think he's given Leicester a bit of an identity, the way they're going to play as well. You know, you can see the way they're trying to play from the back. You know, the inverted fullbacks coming inside to midfield, the way that Pep does at Man City. And you know, the fans will be excited. You know, you've seen the likes of Arteta and company who've worked under Pep, who've gone into management and done really well. So I think there's a lot of optimism with him coming to the club that they're going to play that way and hopefully be successful and get the results on the pitch, which provides us to get back into the Premier League where this club has belong.
I mean, you see it at the bottom of that message there from, was it Fox's Pado? He says, Enzo gives me good vibes. And that is really the feeling amongst the supporters at the moment. And you feel that those coming today, there will be optimistic. Obviously, there's a disappointment of the relegation, but that's gone now. It is this new season. Let's look forward.
And I think that is important. We were all hurting after what happened last season. No one expected at the start of last season when we played Brentford out here in that 2-2 draw. No one ever envisaged Leicester City being relegated to the Championship. There was a lot of negativity, there was a lot of criticism, and some of it rightly so, because I think the football club sleptwalked into relegation. Don't think it should ever have been in that situation, but we are where we are in a new league that's a bit of an unknown for a lot of people. But with what the new man's got to work with maybe one or two fresh faces, as David sort of alluded to before the transfer window closes, I think you'll have to do very well in this league if you're going to finish. If you finish above Leicester in this division, you're going to get automatic promotion. Yeah,
and I think the fans have got to be patient as well. You know, it's a new style of play. They're going to probably see stuff that they haven't seen before, a bit risky playing out from the back, and you know they've got to accept that they're going to play this way and get behind the team. And if it's not working, you know, give them support. You don't want to get on the back early on in the season where they lose confidence. They need as much confidence as you need in this league. You know, you've just been relegated, just playing a new way, and the fans need to, you know, get behind it and make sure it stays that way.
Did you see signs of that in that friendly against Liverpool in Singapore? Okay, they did end up losing that game, of course, but for the first 30 minutes, Leicester had comfortably had the most of the ball, and we saw a lot of playing out from the back and a lot of chances created as well.
Yeah, I did the commentary on the game, and I was really impressed with the first half an hour. You know, playing out from the back, you know, going over the top to use Dacha's pace. Wilfred Ndidi pushing on. You know, could have had a couple of goals early on, but I think once Liverpool sussed them out, how Leicester were playing, you seen a totally different game then. But he's still trying to play out. You know, Harry Winks was trying to get on the ball. You know, got caught out a little times, but he's shown that he wants to get on the ball and try and make things take over. But I'm excited. You know, they're not going to play Liverpool every week. You know, they're playing other teams in the Championship who they should be beating week in, week out. But they've got to prove it on the pitch that they can do it, and they've got to show it as well with the quality they've got in the squad.
Yep. It's not just a new manager, of course, here over the summer at Leicester City. There are a number of new players and debutants, of course, in the starting 11 today. One of those is the new number 10, Steffi Mavididi, and we chatted to him ahead of his move here.
The size and the history of the club speaks for itself. It was a no-brainer for me. Honestly, I just can't wait to get started and can't wait to crack on.
Steph, you're officially a Foxes player. How does it feel to be here?
Yeah, no, I'm honestly happy and delighted to be here. It was one that was in the pipelines for a while, and myself and my family are just happy that it's over the line now.
What first attracted you to come here and play for Leicester City for the next stage of your career?
Well, obviously the size and the history of the club speaks for itself, and me myself personally, I wanted to come back to England and continue my football here. And then obviously speaking with the manager and some staff here, obviously it was a no-brainer for me. The facilities, like the training ground, like is amazing. I feel like we have all the tools here to be successful and to work hard. So yeah, I feel like it's a nice environment to work.
You played in England, of course, as well, though, in the Football League, in the Championship as well. So do you feel like you're coming back now at maybe hitting the peak of your ability at the moment?
Yeah, you could say the peak, but yeah, like you said, I've played previously in the Football Leagues. I played in League One and the Championship briefly, so I feel like I know what it takes to compete in these leagues. Obviously, it's not going to be easy, but I feel like, you know, coming to the training ground, I feel like we have all the tools needed to be successful. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
That is the new number 10, Steffi Mavididi, who is in the starting 11 today for Enzo Maresca's first competitive game in charge. He's not the only debutant in that starting 11. Mads Hermansen is in goal, Callum Doyle at left back, then it's Vestergaard and Fass in that defence. We think it'll be Doyle, Vestergaard, Fass as a 3 in possession, with Ricardo moving into midfield alongside Harry Winks, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and Wilfred Ndidi. Then it's that man, Mavididi, Jamie Vardy and Casey McAteer as the front 3. It's exciting to watch, actually, the style of play. And someone like Steffi Mavididi might be able to really shine. You can play anywhere across the front, anywhere behind the striker as well.
I mean, the game has evolved, hasn't it, since sort of, especially since my day. Inverted fullbacks. We've seen it at Man City, where John Stones has gone into midfield and looked as if he's played there throughout his career. I think they are exciting times. Don't know too much about the young man, I have to say, but if he was anything like me when I first sort of visited the training ground, his jaw would have hit the floor. I don't think he's an out-and-out goal scorer. I mean, he's got more to his game. You know, signed for Juventus when he was a young man. When he left, I think it was Arsenal that he had his youth career. Went to Juventus, didn't really get too many opportunities there. But let's be fair, you've got to be a very special player to make a mark there. So he's still sort of finding his feet, if you like. He's been given the number 10 shirt from James Maddison.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure on there. So I'm exciting times, and I'm excited to see him play.
Yeah, he looks exciting as well. You know, he's got the pace, he's got the tricks. You know, so he's going to play up on the left-hand side. You know, try and get up front to support Jamie Vardy sometimes when the ball goes in behind. So I'm excited. He's got a chance to prove himself at this level. You know, obviously he went to France, had a go over there in Ligue 1, and then, you know, this is, you know, Enzo signed him. He wants to come in and make an impression, and what a stage, you know, live. You know, first game of the season in the Championship, he wants to make an impression and hopefully get the 3 points that, you know, Leicester need to get off to a great start.
What do you make of the summer business in general?
Good.
Ewan?
That's been a good window. Good experience. Disappointing that Conor Cody's not going to be available. I think he would bring good leadership, good organisation skills into the team. You know, Harry Winks played Premier League, 10 England caps, went on loan to Sampdoria last season. Didn't have the best of times, but I think he especially at this level, especially at Championship, I think those two could definitely shine and make a massive difference for Leicester City. The goalkeeper, I don't think he's the biggest goalkeeper in the world. I think he's about 6'1", but what he is and what you have to have if you're going to be a possession-based team and play from the back, you've got to have a goalkeeper who's very comfortable with the ball at his feet, and I think he is.
Yeah, we've seen that against Liverpool. You know, he's not scared to receive the ball under pressure. You know, he does like that little clip over to the full-backs. You know, so he's got good distribution, what you need for a keeper. I like Conor Cody. You know, a great leader. Yeah. You know, obviously played a lot of games for Everton in the Premier League last season. You know, you can hear him talking on the pitch as well. He's got a big loud voice, so he needs that organisation. So yeah, I'm excited. Harry Winks is going to be a pivotal part. You know, he's going to be the pivot that makes Leicester tick really in this team. You know, we've seen it against Liverpool when he's trying to get on the ball and make things play. So I think them 3 signings are going to be key for how Leicester go forward. And
he probably will have more time on the ball in the Championship, obviously, than he would against the likes of Liverpool, like we saw in that friendly.
Yeah, a lot of teams are just going to sit back and let Leicester play. You know, they'll get 11 men behind the ball some weeks, and it's going to be tough for Leicester to break him down. But the way Enzo's got him playing, you know, they need to find the gaps, you know, in behind the full-backs, in behind the back four. You know, number 10's getting on the ball, getting half-turn and feeding forward, you know, through for the one-on-ones, which he likes playing on the last line of defence. So it's going to be tough, but you know, as you said, we're not playing Liverpool every week. Some games, there will be times where it'll be really hard to break teams down.
I mean, I think what they've got to cope with is the physicality that you get in the Championship that you might not get. You know, people in your faces. Because Leicester, because they're Premier League winners only a few years ago, they're
FA Cup winners.
They're the biggest fish in this division. Every game they go into, they're going to have a massive target on their back. The other 23 teams in this division will want to beat Leicester City.
And I guess that goes from an individual point of view as well. Every defender marking Jamie Vardy thinks this is a man who's got 100 Premier League goals. You want to prove a point against him. Harry Winks, 10 England caps. Conor Cody, the same. So, Ricardo, I mean, these are international players.
Yeah, and a lot of Leicester's players in this team have barely played in the Championship, so it's going to be an eye-opener. You know, they're probably not used to getting closed down, you know, every 5 seconds on the ball. You know, it's going to be a really tough season for them, but they've got the quality and the hunger in the squad to push on and, you know, prove to teams that they're ready to get promoted again. They can't just sit back and just let the quality in the squad try and win the 3 points. They've got to work for it, because, you know, teams are going to come here and make it really hard.
Yeah, we've just heard from one debutant there. Let's hear from another one now. It's the man between the sticks from a Leicester City point of view. We saw him, of course, make a number of saves against Liverpool in that friendly, and we spoke to Mads Hermansen ahead of this game against Coventry today.
Mads, you've been here for a few weeks now. How do you feel like you've settled in at the club?
I feel like I've settled in very well. Of course, a lot of new things to know. Learned the other guys to know also very well in the training camp and how to play in this team. So it's good, yeah.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, you've just been on that pre-season tour of Singapore and Thailand. How was that out there?
Yeah, I think it was a great camp. Of course, challenging with the weather and stuff like that. It was hot. It was hard to train, but I think it was great for the group to come together, and also, especially for me, trying to know the other guys a bit better. And I feel like a good part of the team now, so it's great.
Yeah, I guess with those sort of trips, it's really a good chance for you to sort of learn more about your new teammates, get to know them a bit better as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important always to get into the team as fast as possible, and trying to create some relations in that manner. And also on the pitch, we have a lot of trainings, hard sessions, getting to know, of course, the new goalkeeper, coach, and the other guys as well, and on the pitch. So yeah, it's been great.
And you managed to play 2 games out there as well. Your first 2 outings in a Leicester City shirt. How was that, just to get minutes on the pitch? Yeah,
like I said before, it was great. Some tough games, hard games, but it was great to try to work on these relations with the other guys and trying to improve what we want to do on the pitch. So it was good.
Now looking forward, of course, all the focus is on that first game of the season against Coventry City on Sunday. How are you looking forward to that one?
I'm looking very much forward to it. I think it will be great fun, and we know Coventry is a strong side. They were in the playoff final last year, close to getting promoted. So we know we have to bring our A game to win the games, and we want to do that.
With it being here at King Power Stadium, does that give you an advantage that you can use there?
Yeah, of course. Now it's the first time today at the open training I felt the support of the fans, and I think I look very much forward to feel that environment in this great stadium. So it will be great.
And I'm sure throughout the season you'll be hoping to really push on and make sure that Leicester are back in the Premier League come what may.
Yeah, of course. I think we have to put that pressure on ourselves and trying to be so ambitious as we can, and because we have the quality and we have the players to do so. So yeah, that's what we're aiming for.
That's the voice of new Danish goalkeeper Mads Hermansen, who is in the starting 11 for Enzo Maresca's first game in charge here this afternoon. We're just over half an hour now to kick off ahead of this new season. A couple of debutants in there: Harry Winks, Callum Doyle, Steffi Mavididi as well. It'll be very exciting to see them in action. We were just talking, and while we were listening to Mads Hermansen there, who clearly he's a confident young man, Ewan, isn't he? And we saw some good saves against Liverpool. He clearly gets involved in a lot of the build-up as well, which is important, clearly, for Enzo Maresca.
Yeah, we were speaking off here when Mads' interview was going on there, and I was saying, well, does he play a little bit like a sweeper then? And you said, Dan, well, he actually plays a little bit higher than that, which brings its own risk, obviously, but that's how Enzo wants them to play. That's how he's seen Man City plays. He's learnt a lot from his time up there. If he does half as well as the club's last Danish goalkeeper, he'll be doing all right.
I'm just saying, when he is that sweeper keeper as well, obviously he's like another centre half, isn't he? So the centre backs split, and then the full backs can get a bit higher up the pitch as well. So in a way, going forward, it looks good. But if they lose the ball, it could be dangerous, because he's going to be open, he's going to be off his line. So we could see like a situation against Liverpool where he nearly got lobbed, but he made a good save with his head in the end, and he got back and made amends for it. But it's exciting. He's got good distribution. Obviously understudy to Kasper Schmeichel in the Danish side, so I'm sure Kasper would have given him a few tips about the club as well. So I'm looking forward to it. He seems like a bubbly character, like wants to get on the ball and make things tick and play.
How much are you looking forward to seeing the new style, if you like, in action today? You've seen it a little bit in those pre-season games, but you've got Ricardo dropping in. If we put the team news graphic on, and then we can sort of figure it out from there, really, because Doyle, although he's on as a left back there, he will be more of a third centre half, if you like. I
mean, he spent last season at Coventry, and he played on the left-hand side of three centre-halves for Mark Robbins' side, and did extremely well there. It sounds complicated. It doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of hours hard work has to be done on the training pitch for everybody to get on the same page. But as I said earlier, the game's moved on, the game is evolving. You get players that maybe are now playing in positions that they're not too comfortable with, being asked to do things that they've not been asked to do before, and they've got to embrace that.
Yeah. When there's Ricardo does go inside, besides Harry Winks and Callum Doyle does come across for the to cover in, it gives the license, Ndidi to Behold to make forward runs, as we've seen against Liverpool. I've never seen Ndidi run forward into the box, the 18-yard box, to get shots on target. Usually class Ndidi as a holding midfielder, but I think Enzo's given him the license to get forward and try and make runs into the box, and I've seen that a lot, 3 or 4 times against Liverpool. Could have scored a couple of goals.
Maddison is a massive miss. His creativity, his assists. The same with Harvey Barnes. The club has to now find people who are going to create chances for Jamie Vardy, for Iheanacho, for Mavididi, for Patson Daka, and I think Ricardo can do that. He's a magnificent right back. He's got a great engine. He's got great delivery into the penalty box. If there's one player that can go into that midfield and create opportunities for the forwards, I think he's the one.
Clearly, that's what Enzo Maresca looked at. He looked at the different qualities of each of the fullbacks. Clearly, he wanted a fullback to be able to do that, and thought that Ricardo is the one that fit the bill, if you like.
Yeah. I've seen Ricardo play on the right hand side of a free as well. He can play in many positions. Towards the end of last season, he played as in front free at one stage. He plays right back. And then Enzo's obviously seen he's good on the ball, which he can go into midfield and try and make things play that way and get fed. The attacking players further up the pitch. So I'm excited to see it. You know, I'm hoping that all this hard work on the training pitches has come good, and we see today, you know, first game of the season.
We've seen it a little bit with Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool. I think Trent's played there for England in one international. You know, he's gone into midfield, he's got the engine, he's got the creativity, he's got the ability. I think Ricardo's exactly the same. You know, we're talking about one of the best right backs in the Premier League, and then he had those two really nasty injuries, and they take their time to recover from. I think now this season, I think he'll get the best out of Ricardo.
What you see a lot of is the ball going from the defenders into those midfielders, whether it's Dewsbury Hall, Winks, or indeed Ricardo, and they just zip it off first time to the other one that's free, and then that's when the wingers can then split, and you can see a lot of space is created because there's just, when I say so many players in there, I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean that in a good sense, that Leicester have got options in the midfield.
That's what you want on the ball, options. You don't want to receive a ball and have no one to pass to. You know, so with Ricardo coming inside allows Harry Winks to go a bit further. Dewsbury Hall splits, you know, and Ndidi splits. The two wingers come inside. Vards runs in behind. You know, there's so many options when you got options on the ball. So I think it's just vital for the defenders to get the attacking plays on the ball as quick as possible. Where I think Leicester can hurt Coventry. You know, so I think Leicester just have to go out there, make a statement, prove to, you know, all the teams out here that we're here to win the league, and want to win and want to win the league and make a statement and strike fear into the whole competition of the Championship. And
it really will be a statement, of course, against Coventry today. Of course, it just had to be the local rivals, didn't it, on the opening day, aside, of course, that narrowly missed out on promotion to the Premier League, losing on penalties in the playoff final last season to Luton. Let's hear now from Andy Turner from Coventry Live, who's been assessing how the Sky Blues will be feeling ahead of this new season. Andy Turner from Coventry Live for that. Don't forget you can watch or you can listen to a number of Leicester City's Sky Bet Championship matches this season. You will need a pass to do so on Fox's Hub. There'll be certain games you can watch online if you're here in the UK. Obviously, international supporters in certain territories can even watch today's game. You can listen to every single one though as well. You can buy a number of different passes. There's seasonal passes there's monthly passes, or even game by game passes, whether that is for watching games or for listening to them. If you do want to get a seasonal pass one, I'd do it quickly though. In the next month or so, there's an early bird offer with some money off, so it's a good opportunity to do that. Let's talk about Coventry then. They so narrowly missed out on promotion last season. That man on the screen there, Mark Robbins, has done an unbelievable job with them, and he knows coming here he'll bring a side ready to fight.
100%. You know, 90 minutes away from getting to the Premier League. So today's not going to be a pushover for Leicester. You know, they have to earn the right to win in this game. You know, Mark Robin's done a tremendous job. You know, back at home at the Ricoh Arena now. Obviously, used to play the games at Northampton and Birmingham. Just everything about the club now seems to be right on track. And Mark Robbins is the front of that. You know, he's made a squad, you know, that competes well in the Championship. As I said, almost got to the Premier League, and you know, they got a lot of good players in this squad. Obviously lost the talisman in Victor Gyökeres, you know, obviously 20 odd goals a season, but they still got Gustavo Hamer who hit double figures, you know, for goals and assists. So they still got the players in there to, you know, cause Leicester problems.
I mean, I've seen quite a lot of Coventry since Mark Robbins took over. I did my A licence in Aberystwyth with Robbo, and you could always tell that he was going to go on and become a very good, successful head coach. And he's done it the hard way. You know,
more so than you then.
Pardon?
More so than you.
Absolutely. he used to help me in the lecture room because I was absolutely hopeless in there. So you could always sense that he was going to go on and become a very, very good head coach. I'm surprised when there's maybe bigger jobs in the Championship, and I'm talking about Norwich when I say this, when they've been looking for a new head coach. He's a former Norwich player that he hasn't been given the opportunity. For the first time, he's had money to spend. As Dave said, Gyökeres moved to Sporting Lisbon, £21 million, 21 goals last season, the Championship's second top scorer. He's going to be a massive miss, and I know they've signed Ellis Sims from Everton for £7 million, but it's hard to replace that type of goal. But they're energetic, they're high intensity, they counter-attack quickly. And what Mark did last year and the previous seasons, he used the loan market really well. Those players have come back now, but he's bought 9 in. He bought Hadji Wright in, the big 6'4" American centre forward, brought him in the last couple of days. So have they got the disappointment of what happened at Wembley with that penalty miss from Darboe? Have they got over that? That will be the big question, because that's not easy to do.
Yeah, it's always hard trying to replace a 20-goal striker. And you know, Ellis Sims, you know, he's been on loan at Sunderland in the Championship, scored a few goals there. Everton called him back, you know, because they were short on strikers. So, you know, it's a massive opportunity for him. It's a great move for him. He has to prove a point now that he's good enough to, you know, to replace, you know, the goal scorer, to become the goal scorer. So, yeah, it'll be tough for him. You know, first game of the season, local derby, but he'll be right up for it. You know, Premier League quality as well. So it's. Yeah, I think it'll be a tough day. Yeah,
it wasn't just the goals that Gyökeres scored. In terms of goals and assists, you put those together, he contributed to over half of the goals that Coventry scored last season.
Yeah, I think Gyökeres and Hamer, you know, them two together were the catalyst for Coventry getting so far, you know, up, you know, so close to the Premier League, and they've lost one of them, managed to keep all of one. So I'm intrigued to see how they play. You know, obviously Gustavo Hamer, great playmaker. You know, Mark Robbins, he says he's is the best midfielder outside the Premier League. So I'm intrigued to see how he plays, what type of player he is, and no, it's not going to. As I keep on saying, it's first game in the Championship. It's unknown, but you know, I'm looking forward to watching it and see how Leicester fail. You know, fail. Fair. You know, in this first game of the season.
Yeah, that's not a Freudian slip early on. Speaking of excitement ahead of this new season and a little bit of the unknown, Jerry Taggart, you're in the press box for us. You're on co-commentary duty. Are you excited for this new season?
Yeah, absolutely. Dan, good afternoon, chaps, by the way. Ewan, I've just found your 2 front teeth. So don't worry about it, mate. I'll bring them in a minute. All right, MATCHDAY, you caught, by the way. But yeah, I'm absolutely excited, mate. You know, obviously, getting relegated from Premier League is bitterly disappointing, but you know, we're sort of going into the unknown this season. Not a lot is known about some of the teams in this league. Obviously Coventry, today's opponents, narrowly missing out in the playoff final at the end of last season. So I think this will be a really difficult game and hopefully a really exciting game as well.
Yeah, it sounds quite loud already, Jerry, here in the stadium. What, 20 minutes now away from kick-off. You can sense the atmosphere is going to be fantastic today. It probably was anyway, first game of the season, but against local rivals.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking across at the Coventry and that's 3/4 full at the minute. The rest of the stadium about half full, but as you say, by the time kick-off comes, I think we're expecting a full house, and that's pretty assured with the way things are looking at the minute.
What's the key for Leicester, do you think, Jerry, particularly starting this game today?
Yeah, you know, it's a difficult one. I've just been listening to the lads speaking there. I think for me, personally, because Leicester and I think Ewan said that we'll have a target on the back every game they go into. They have to stick in there when things aren't going their way, when they're not playing the type of football that the manager expects them to play for the whole of the game. They have to stick in there mentally, because teams are going to try and make it as difficult as possible. We heard about Coventry wanting at times they want to play on the counter attack. They've got that little magician in Hamer who will try and make Coventry tick. So they have to stick in there. Mental fortitude when things aren't going their way. Anybody can play football when the sun's shining and things are going their way. It's when the dark clouds are coming over the stadium, when things are getting tough, their backs are against the wall. That's when they have to stick in there, and hopefully the quality that they possess comes out on top.
It's going to be this season. Last season in the Premier League, the club won 5 of 19 home games. The last time the club were in this division, the man next to me scored 20 league goals. The club won 17 of its 23 home games. That's the type of number I think Leicester need if they're going to win promotion this season. Home form is going to be vital.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter what league you're in, does it? Your home form, if you're going to do well at any level, is vitally important, and you know, that's exactly the same for Leicester City this season. They need to improve on that. Hopefully, with the new manager, the style of play that he's bringing in, that will keep the majority of teams on the back foot for the majority of games that they play here. And in doing so, you kind of like to think that either creating goal scoring opportunities or mistakes by the opposition will lead to goal scoring opportunities for Leicester City with a style of play that the manager's trying to implement. But for sure, that the home form definitely has to pick up if they're going to be successful.
Thank you very much, Jerry. That was the voice and pictures, in fact, of our co-commentator today, Jerry Taggart. We'll hear from him again in around about 10 minutes' time as we build up to kick-off. Not long to go now ahead of the curtain raiser. If you are just joining us here on Fox's Hub, then we can get a quick reminder of today's team news from a Leicester point of view. Hermansen is in goal. It's a back four out of possession. Doyle, Vestergaard, Fass and Ricardo. Ricardo will push into midfield on the ball with Harry Winks, Dewsbury Hall and Wilfred Ndidi. New number 10, Steffi Mavididi, is on the left with McAteer in behind Jamie Vardy. We're all struggling with that one today, you and aren't we? And we could just quickly run through the Coventry City team, of course, as well. We've just been talking about them and their influential midfielder, in particular Gustavo Hamer. They've got Wilson in goal, though. Thomas, McFadzean and Sheaf, we think, as the back three. De Silva and Latibodia as the wing backs. Palmer, Eccles and Hamer in midfield with Godden and Sims up front. Right at the very beginning of the show, we saw a snippet of a certain Ewan Roberts goal scored against Coventry. There's some more good ones in there, so let's take a look at some classic strikes against today's opposition, local rivals Coventry, to get us into the mood for this one.
Draper, Joji, and a goal on the far post for Ewan Roberts. Leicester City level in first half injury time. First goal of the season for the Welshman, Ewan Roberts. Still Lee Philpott. And it's still in there and a chance for Roberts, who's equalised. Ewan Roberts has two, Leicester have two, and has that saved a point for Leicester City.
There were a couple of nice little strikers' finishes, weren't they, Ewan?
6 yards. Well, the first one was about 6 inches, wasn't it? Lethal from there.
They all count, though,
but
don't
you know what? They were special goals because my first 2 goals in the Premier League for Leicester City. So obviously, I scored a better one at Highfield Road, a diving header, and that's when the dog came out, the little dance that was doing the rounds in Leicester.
You like scoring against teams' rivals, don't you?
West Brom, Ipswich. Coventry, Derby. Yeah, I was quite fortunate. Quite fortunate.
Good. It's one way to get the fans on side, and they're still on side now.
I better get myself in the dressing room now.
Well, you scored against Coventry, don't you? Didn't think we weren't going to leave you out. Let's take a look at a classic David Nugent goal as well, although it might be another tap-in as well.
That definitely was.
Breaks for Dyer. Beckford. Could stop, but not for long. Nugent, 4 in 4 for him.
another tapping, but as we said, they all count, don't they?
Yeah, just being in the 6-yard box as a striker, you know, the ball's going to drop if the keeper saves it, and you just got to be on the move, and I managed to be in the right place at the right time, which strikers usually are, to put in the back of the net. And you know, I think the first game, my first ever Leicester game was against Coventry away under Sven-Göran Eriksson, 1-0 Lee Peltier header, and then obviously the reverse fixture under Nigel Pearson when he came back to the club, 2-0 win and managed to get on the score sheet, me and Jermaine Beckford.
Listen, it doesn't matter how they go in, and today's is equally
Still
the
count
same.
the same,
First game of the season, even if it's a scrappy 1-0 goal, it doesn't really matter to start the season.
No, there's a new style of play going to be implemented, but you've got to have end product. Let's be honest, you can have all the possession in the world, but there's got to be chances being created, crosses being put in, shots on goal, shots on target, goals being scored. I think it's a good game. It's a really good game. As I say, we've spoken about the games coming up. I think it's a proper opportunity for Leicester to show what they're about in this division. Coventry, a very good side, well coached, and the Mark Robins came within a few inches of Premier League football themselves last season. Tough time for Leicester last season, a lot of disappointments. Let's start the process now of getting back into the Premier League.
Yeah, on the possession basis, well, you don't want to see like just the defenders just passing each other side to side. You want to see a bit of intent going forward, you know, possession-wise, trying to play in their final third, you know, getting the wingers on the ball, getting crosses into the box, creating chances like Ewan said, and you know, you want possession where you're creating chances, you know, goal-scoring opportunities that way, rather than just passing it along the back, just keeping possession for the numbers' sake, you know what I mean? So I want to see an attacking force, you know, Leicester going forward, you know, with the possession and the build-up play that we've seen in the first half an hour against Liverpool.
Yeah, final point on that. We have seen whenever Leicester have got the ball, they've got it forward quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. If Coventry are trying to come forward, you know, trying to press Leicester, you know, Leicester need to, like, you know, move the ball quickly, try and get in positions where they can hurt Coventry and get the ball forward as quick as possible, and if you see that, I'm sure we'll see a positive, you know, performance by Leicester today.
Hopefully so. Remember to watch or to listen to any of Leicester City's games this season in the Sky Bet Championship. You'll need to have a Game Pass. You can get those on Fox's Hub. For certain games, you can watch them here in the UK. International audiences, you can even watch today's game in certain territories. Don't worry, in the UK though, you can listen to all of the action today. There's plenty of different passes available, whether you do a season one, a monthly one, or just one for the game, but you can listen to today's game wherever you are in the world. We are now, just over 10 minutes until kick-off ahead of this new season for Leicester City in the Championship. Hopefully it's going to be a memorable season as the club look to bounce straight back into the Premier League. It all starts today though, of course, against Mark Robins's Coventry City, nearly a Premier League side themselves at the end of last season. Both teams are going to battle it out, of course, in the Championship this season. The first game's a local derby, and it's coming up next.
Who wants to join me? Shopping at King Power. 3-day, 2-night stay booked. See ya.
To the rooftop bar.
To snap a photo for my IG.
To eat the famous pad thai.
The new collection is calling me.
Sure, there's a perfume I want. Let me ask my sis.
Yes, of course I'm going. Leicester City, Fox never quit.
Let's go. It's possible because King Power is more than just duty-free. Shop latest trends in beauty and gadgets. Your coolest staycation. The legendary pad thai, best street food in town. A place to support your team, a fancy dinner, enjoy shopping at downtown stores and online, or even the thrill of a new experience. Explore your everyday possibilities. The power of possibilities. King Power.